Hey, I would like to ask, have any of you seen this video?
SCP Secret Lab is very cool as a concept. In practice, however, it's very unbalanced and has many design flaws. I'm at the point where I genuinely don't enjoy playing this game.
Yeah, quite the title, I know. That was uploaded 3 years ago, and if you haven't been able to guess, that was me. It has been a very long time since I made a video about Secret Lab, or anything really. One of the very first things I want to do now that I'm trying to come back more consistently is check in on Secret Lab and see how it's doing. So apparently there was a scandal between a minor and an individual connected to Northwood. Oh boy, that must have been fun. It seems like the situation's been dealt with though, so let's not pry into it. We don't need that drama in our lives, now do we? What I really want to do is take a look at how the game has changed since I made those videos. How about we play a few matches?
A, B, C,
Bro,
E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Alright, I'm gaming right now, so my mic's gonna sound crappy. Every SCP seems to have had its turn for a rework. Some are more notable than others. I'd be here forever if I went into detail with all of them. But they all have a Hume shield. There are also many new SCP items. 244 creates a super cold fog of water vapor that can act like a smoke grenade. That's pretty cool. The candy bowl that cuts off your hands is an official part of the game, no longer a holiday event. SCP-1576 can be used to talk to dead players. That's actually game-changing. What were even my original problems with Secret Lab?
SCP-096 clearly doesn't like people looking at his face, but when you're playing as him in this game, your objective is to intentionally get people to look at you so you can kill them? Bullets have been proven to have no effect on SCP-106, but in this game, you can kill him if you shoot him enough? When I get to be an SCP, I don't feel like I'm actually playing as these characters.
Yeah, people definitely argue with me on this a lot. I get why. Making a lore-accurate game fun to play can be very difficult with lore like this. But my attitude is, it's okay to make some compromises here and there depending on what it is. But the very frequent compromises Secret Lab has made are things I feel are very important and defining traits of the SCPs. And they're still doing it. SCP-500 has a very finite and scarce amount of pills, and any attempts to synthesize them reliably have been a failure. This is a very important detail to explain why they're so carefully monitored and valued, and why diseases are still an actual threat to the world.
Yet in Secret Lab, you can practically make an infinite amount by just putting adrenaline on a fine in 914. And with SCP-914 and 500 both in the game, care to explain why SCP-427 doesn't exist?
One of the very first details of SCP-1576 is that information the user is not aware of will not be provided by it.
That's the whole reason you use it, to get info on what's going on in the match.
Doctors,
hey man,
doctors and servers, doctors and 500 health.
there's a lot of MTF and they're having.
As awesome as SCP-244 is, the document suggests that it eventually engulfs the entirety of whatever area it's in, speed of which depending on varying factors.
In Secret Lab, there's only a fixed amount of space it can take up, presumably for balancing purposes, maybe performance issues as well.
I think a lore-accurate implementation of 244 would actually be a very fun addition to the game. You could deny entire containment zones and force people out of their hiding spots. You could open and close doors to control what direction the fog goes. You could have super cold-resistant clothing to counteract its damage. I think Secret Lab would be an amazing game as its own IP. Like Lethal Company, for example. An amazing game that's influenced off of SCP. It's just, when you put the SCP brand on it, I associate the features with specific traits.
I once had someone recommend to me that the femur breaker should be removed, so the only way of containing 106 is gunfire.
Yeah, since that video, they've actually removed the femur breaker. When that happened, I remember being like, nope, that's it. That's the last straw. And that's when I abandoned the game for good. I didn't even bother making a video on it.
In canon, the Foundation has a unique way of containing each SCP where they're able to successfully do so. These are called special containment procedures. This is the sort of thing that should be given a stronger emphasis for dealing with SCPs, not the weapons and certainly not the health mechanics.
So instead of expanding on special containment procedures, they've instead expanded on the health mechanics, the Hume shield that I talked about earlier.
I watched this video recently talking about Secret Lab, and I don't agree with everything, but I do find this point a bit interesting.
This mechanic is the worst feature of SCPSL. It's a plague that's infested itself into every SCP, once being limited to a select few. Without Hume Shield, SCPs would be whittled down by chip damage. This argument is retarded. Taking small amounts of damage for a kill isn't a problem. It's just how PvP works. It's a trade. Chip damage is not an issue. It's just a fair exchange. Even if the human dies, at least they get something out of it. Nothing sucks more than feeling your effort was for absolutely nothing. Hume Shield causes exactly that.
I'll definitely make an exception for the zombies. I think the shield system works really well for them. And in general, I'm feeling like the Plague Doctor zombies are a lot better to play as now.
The hitbox feels more consistent. The shield gives you a bit of breathing room. It's clever how you need to go to Plague Doctor to regenerate it. You can heal your normal health by eating dead players. And even if you die, Plague Doctor can bring you back. Again. And again. And again.
I feel like I can actually do stuff as a zombie this time around. I don't dread playing as it anymore. And I think that's worth giving Northwood some praise.
4 minutes and 38 seconds of me just sitting there, doing nothing, waiting to respawn. This was a bit of an outlier since it happened right as I respawned, but even waiting 1 to 3 minutes to keep playing is still ridiculous. A game should keep you engaged throughout the entire experience.
Yep, that right there was really annoying. And it's still really annoying. I mean, I guess it's a little bit better because having better zombies, 1576, and some loadout customization, you can give you some things to do after death. But they're all very situational, and they don't really address the problem and its roots. And that's probably my biggest problem with Secret Lab right now. I really don't like not actually being able to play for most of your time on the server.
Alright, I've been playing for about an hour now, and I still haven't gotten Plague Doctor. Look, man, I've got things to do today. I'm gonna have to hop off.
I couldn't play as Plague Doctor because I got unlucky and the game never spawned. I remember this being something that I complained about back in those videos.
You can't choose what you want to play as, the game decides for you. This means you rarely get to play the classes that you actually want. Want to be 173 and snap some necks? Too bad, you're D-class. Want to be a D-class and find your way out of the facility? Too bad, you're a guard. I've had plenty of sessions that lasted hours long where I didn't get the class I wanted even once.
So, that's still a factor, it seems.
That right there wraps up my check-in. So, I'm seeing many good things, I'm seeing many meaningful changes, but what I'm also observing is that the things that made me drop the game in the first place are all still there. So was all that time on those videos practically for nothing? I guess I benefited from them through views and subscribers, but like, how many of them will still be around to see this video? Probably not many. With all this said though, I think it's definitely worth not undermining the actual progress that has been made to the game in other areas. Again, the zombie rework. That's fucking awesome. There's also a bunch of other improvements that I didn't have time in this video for. I guess the aspects of the game I have a problem with don't reflect the opinions of the wider community. If I were to buy ownership of Secret Lab right now and made it in my image, especially now, the game would be unrecognizable. It would fundamentally be a different game. At this point, it just seems unrealistic to continue clinging on to hope for my issues to be addressed. So after some long thought,
I've decided that they're better off resolved with my own SCP game, where I make all the decisions.
a lot of my time off YouTube has been spent learning some very useful skills that would be essential for such a project. I can't promise too much, I have no team, I have no budget, but what I do have is a vision. Let me give you a general idea of what the project will be like and how it will be different from SCP Secret Lab.
These are the main issues I had with SM. I am never going to launch my SCP game until I feel like I have addressed all of these factors adequately. The game's going to be developed on the Godot Engine, so you don't have to worry about being charged $1 for every reload, but I do not plan on it being free. I plan for it to be somewhere between $5 and $20. In SL, SCPs depend on team strategies and communication to win the match, by killing everyone together. Yeah, my game's going to be nothing like that. It's going to be more like you have your own objectives, and you may team up with other SCPs or classes if it's beneficial to you. I want to have some of SL's main tasks, however, I also want to have some of my own SCPs. I really want to add 035. The very first SCP to be fully implemented will likely be 008. And I even have an idea for 6A2. 457's a maybe. I'll have to do some research on it before promising it. The Femur Breaker is coming back, and I do not care what any of you have to say. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make Larry immune to bullets, so you have to use it. Alright here, 106's movement slows down in the presence of lead, which bullets commonly have as a component. So I will allow bullets to slow him down so you can get a safe distance. I hope that's a fair compromise. Do not expect there to be super high quality graphics. That is not very high on my priority list, and I do not see that being a realistic promise. SL will always have that over my game. Expect my game to have graphics more similar to Lethal Company. In general, I'm always going to stay within the scope of whatever is achievable with the resources available to me. Let me share with you some progress I've already made.
Check this out. I have a gun. I have 2 guns. You know what else I have? I have an ammo system that is being used for both of them. I have an item drop and pickup system. I have a keycard and locked door system that checks for the card's level to determine whether or not the door can be opened. I have multiple rooms with doors to test this functionality, including an elevator. I have a surveillance room that finds all the cameras in the scene and picks a random one to display on a screen. I have a flashlight and a lamp, both with a battery system. I have a working Tesla game. And last but certainly not least, I have an AI with a field of view that can detect when a player enters it, and even checks for if it's behind a wall.
A lot more work has to be done before I can release it to the public, but I hope this is enough to show through my actions that I'm serious about this and that I am capable. However, I want to make one thing crystal clear. I also have other projects that are more important to me, and I'm sacrificing valuable time and resources for this game that could be spent on those instead. For me to continue doing that, I need to see that people are interested in this and will play it upon its release.
The coming months will be spent continuing to make this SCP game, and I intend to make videos documenting that process. I will be watching how many views and subscribers these videos get me, including this one. I do plan for there to be some kind of donation system to help fund the game. I will be watching how much money the project receives. I will be using these as a metric for how much effort this game is worth. My channel is small. If my SCP game interests you, it really does matter that you do your part here. You know, the normal YouTuber stuff, like, subscribe, yada yada, but really what you gotta do is share. Share this video with other fans of the SCP series. That is the single most effective way to get the ball rolling with this project.
I'm grateful for Northwood, for back when I was a teenager and didn't have money to buy my own games. SL was the game I needed at the time. However, now that I'm well into my adulthood, it's time for me to evolve for bigger and better things. There are things you likely don't agree with Northwood on, and there will definitely be things you're not going to agree with me on. And because of that, I think it's very important that SCP is a Creative Commons license, and no singular person or studio is allowed to have a monopoly of this entire genre.